Can you go to a thorn bush and expect grapes? No. Can you go to an apple tree and expect watermelons? Absolutely not. All right, let's go further. Can you go to a Italian restaurant and expect to purchase some expensive Chinese dish like Beijing duck or whatever? No. Can you go to, let's say, an Indonesian restaurant and purchase African dishes? No. You get where I'm going with this. I'll give you more examples. Can you go to, let's say, a fraternity with only men, biological males, and offer pregnancy therapy, whatever? Well, you're going to waste your time because men don't get pregnant. They don't. So, in life, when you want to get proper results, you need to be in the right place at the right time with the right attitude, doing what's required to get the outcome. A farmer knows very well if he does not sow the seed in the sowing season, he surely cannot expect a harvest during harvest time next year. He knows that. If you don't put gas into your car, you won't be able to drive anywhere. If you don't charge your mobile phone, forget going on your apps or send text messages or even calling. Now, question to you. Can you expect full compliance with solutions from someone who is mentally unstable? No, you cannot. Now, there may be various reasons why someone is mentally unstable. Obviously, emotionally unstable. Mentally unstable and emotionally unstable go hand in hand. One thing I want to point out here: bitter people with bitterness are by default emotionally unstable and eventually mentally unstable. Why? Bitterness is not the result of what people do to you. Bitterness is the result of you not owning up to your part that you have to do to be better. If you've been neglected by the people around you, that's not your fault. That's them. They're being pathetic. But you should never neglect yourself. Let's say your wife cheated on you and the marriage ended. And now you're bitter towards your ex-wife. And this bitterness harms you internally, mentally, emotionally. It also causes you physical harm to all the stress in your body. And now your other social relationships are destroyed. Your relationship with your children, it's going backwards. Your new marriage is falling apart too. What's going on here? The previous marriage is over. Your ex-wife is not around anymore. So she doesn't play a role anymore. So why is what happened still harming you? Look, if someone caused you physical injury, then that's something different. But this was not a direct physical injury that caused you. It was an emotional injury by cheating on you. Why is that still harming you? Look, I'm not saying that if something bad was done to you, that you'll never remember it. That you can live life like it never happened. That's delusional. You will remember it, even involuntarily, and will have an effect on the rest of your life. You have to become better and learn to deal with what happens. And that's what it comes down to. When people don't own up that they've been injured or neglected, when people don't own up that there's lack around them, they don't become part of the problem that's harming them. Yes, they're being harmed by other people, but they're also harming themselves in the process by not doing their part. Doing your part means admitting the bad situation and admitting that you need to get out of there. Because if you don't do your part and get out of there, if you don't do your part to improve, things will get worse. And that's where bitterness comes from. And people fail to do their part and they don't own up to it. The moment you own up to your own failure, there's no bitterness. But when you don't own up your part, that unrest, all that stress will begin to weigh you down. And because you don't want to deal with the stress that comes from you not owning up to your part, and you also want to own up your part, what's going to happen now? You will seek to project that unrest onto someone else. You begin to dislike people, hate people, turn on people. You even eventually begin to believe that people may be against you while they don't even think about you, they don't even know who you are. You end up paranoid. You end up developing mental disorders. You end up having a lot of physical stress, your body causes diseases. You may end up joining a cult, not realizing you've been tricked into a cult. I mean, the ramifications and consequences of bitterness are detrimental, harmful both to yourself and others, and it's not something to make light of. Just understand this: bitter people don't think clearly. They're all in denial, in toxic denial. They're all on the run 24/7 because that emotionally they're out of balance, and over time they become emotionally unstable. Even when you tell someone like that the plain facts about their behavior, they will admit it with their intellect that you're right. But because they are mentally disordered and emotionally unstable, they will act based on how they feel, and they feel threatened. And because they feel threatened and they believe they're threatened, even when there's no proof they're threatened, they will act on how they feel. Feelings are facts to them. Now, when people are in the beginning of bitterness, you can still kind of give them therapy and push them out of it. You have to do it in a professional way. If you're not qualified to do that, don't do that because it may it may backfire. But if someone is in an advanced state of bitterness, what's going to happen is that this individual will eventually either head towards reprobation or there'll be a train wreck. There'll be an emotional train wreck, embarrassing themselves, everyone around them. We have to prevent such things as much as possible now. We cannot prevent everyone from becoming a train wreck. Some people end up a train wreck by their own doing. At least don't let it be on you. And look, we have to manage children because they're just children. We call it babysitting. But in the Western world, we have this weird idea that just because someone is an adult, they don't need management anymore. They're a grown man, they're a grown woman. Of course, because they're a grown man or a grown woman, you expect more agency from them, more responsibility from them than from a child. But it doesn't mean that adults don't need management. All of us need management. I don't care who you are, what your role is in daily life, how annoyed you are by having a father, all of us need management. Call it babysitting if you want, I don't care. Let's manage the people in our communities so that if one of them turns to a train wreck, it cannot be on us. Because that's what they do in the world, especially the Western world. People neglect one another, allow bad things to continue to happen, and when people amongst them, they're either train wrecks, everyone says, well, I don't know that guy, or it's not me, or they're a grown man, don't look at me, or look at the parents, or everyone begins to look for excuses to make sure they're not associated with it. Well, let me tell you, if there are people once in a while in the train wrecks in the community, unfortunately things happen in the world. But if there is a pattern, now if it's a regular thing, people turn to train wrecks, something is certainly wrong with the people there. And that is what a lot of people in the Western world don't want to admit. This whole idea, you're an adult now, you should take care of yourself, leave us alone, blah, blah, it's just narcissism. Why demand someone to be of quality if you are not quality towards them? It's narcissism, doesn't add up, it's abuse. Nobody should insist on you having quality behavior if they themselves are not quality towards you. It doesn't add up. Nevertheless, that's what a lot of people in the world do, especially in the Western world. Outside of the Western world, people still have some type of balance in their communities. In the Western world, that balance is gone. And most of the people who listen to this are from the Western world. So I'm telling you, look at yourself, look at people around you, and let's be responsible, especially as believers. Let us not embarrass Heavenly Father by being neglectful and act like we're all innocent, because you're not. If you're part of the neglect, you're not innocent. And why would the Heavenly Father protect you from the dangerous outcomes of your own neglect? You're part of neglect, which leads to bad outcomes. How will God protect you from the danger of those bad outcomes? Will not happen. Let's walk by faith, obey them in thought, so we are blameless, walking in abundance everywhere we go. That's it for now. Keep on keeping Christ and be at peace.